if you're making, $20 million a year or $500,000 a year, you could still be equally happy.
When you own a business, there's never a time where you're off.
Figure out a way to be happy. Like, you don't have to own a business.
There's people who are meant for jobs and not meant to be business owners. And there are business owners who are meant to be business owners that aren't cut out for the workforce.
All right, so in this episode, we're going to talk about getting a job or starting your own business, right? And we really want to be honest with the opinions that we have, not only the opinions that we have, but share some experiences from both. You've had a job before. I mean, I've had a job. Yeah, several. I've had a job before starting a business. So we'll go ahead and talk a little bit about that. And then we'll also go ahead and talk about like actually running a business and what goes on behind running a business. And we'll take the conversation from there. So I guess, where do you want to get started?
I don't know. I think you handled that one.
Okay, so let's talk about, right off the bat, what do you think you would do? Which one would be better for you? You think you would want to have a regular job or be in business if you had to start over knowing what you know now?
I mean, knowing what I know now, it would be start a business, and I would be, it's been almost 10 years.
Almost 10 years, yeah.
So 10 years of knowledge going into it from the jump. I'd be skipping so many things, and I'd start a business immediately to get make some money and get rolling. Plus, if we rewound the clock and started back then again too, when everything was a lot different, running Facebook ads was pennies compared to what it is now. So yeah, it would be a no-brainer. But what I would also say is that I would not quit my job, whatever I had at the time, until the business started making money, which would probably be fairly quickly. Within 90 days, there would be enough revenue to quit. So I wouldn't do that. And that's one thing that I would say to anybody who's starting, because I know there's a lot of information. A lot of people say you got to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. So you got to remove yourself from the daily rut and try new things and expand. But you can't sacrifice total happiness to do that, because if you're going to be unhappy the moment you truly unhappy, and nothing really helps you be happy through that scenario, then don't do it.
Right. I mean, so that is I think the true goal is to be happy, right? You have to find out how much money you want to make, right? That will make you happy. Because if you're making, $20 million a year or $500,000 a year, you could still be equally happy, right? Because
I believe so, but I know there are people out there who disagree.
I don't know, because I don't think they truly found happiness. That's why I think they disagree, because I used to believe that as well. I thought, okay, I need to own the Lamborghini or something like that to be happy, right? But that can't be further from the truth, right? Today, I know for a fact that if I made more money than I do now, I don't think at all it would change my happiness level, right? Because I find happiness from just freedom. That's number one, right? Knowing that I could do whatever I want to do. That has to be there, right? That is what I probably get 50% of my happiness from, just knowing that I could do whatever I want, meaning spending time with friends, family, doing things like that. And it's just something, I enjoy working. So I still work a lot, which I think is a great thing, because if you do work a lot and you work smart, you will make more money, right? Which is just, I guess, kind of in parallel, it happens, right? But then the other 50% just comes from friends and family, right? Like having the people around you, I think, is what really makes the person happy, right? And you could do that making 50,000 a year. It just depends how you structure your life.
Yeah.
Right? Because when I was younger, I wasn't making any money, like almost zero, right? I had a job. I worked with my dad. They didn't really pay for much except for my food. Granted that I lived with my parents, so like living was paid for and things like that. But I mean, how much money do you need to really make to a company for that? An extra like $2,500 a month to get yourself a decent place to live at, or a car, right? So, and back then it was just hanging out with people that I really enjoyed spending time with, right? And that's where the happiness came from. So I think just figuring out that happiness and where it comes from, because I do think that a lot of people that are chasing money, they're just chasing money, but they really haven't experienced true life, okay? And I think once you start to experience that, yes, you still probably will be hungry to make money, because I don't think that goes away. I always want to make more money, but it's not just because it's going to make me happier. It's just, what else am I going to do with my time, right? Not even if I want to hang out with certain friends or family, they're busy sometimes, right? What am I going to do? Just play a video game? I mean, sure, I liked video games, or I like playing video games before, but that doesn't excite me anymore. I prefer doing business, right? And just getting better at those things, helping more people and things like that. So I found my happiness in that way. But more money will not really do anything in terms of happiness. So I think that's number one. And then figuring out what you want to do, whether it's starting a business or having a job, because they're two completely different things, you know? And you know that exactly. One, a lot more stressful, a lot more hands-on.
I could say that sometimes it could be as equally stressful depending on the position you're in when you have a job,
right,
and the things that you do. So both will be stressful, but it's just different kinds of stress. Because when you work somewhere, when you clock out, for most jobs, right, it's off, it's over. When you own a business, there's never a time where you're off.
Exactly. Yeah,
you're never off.
Never.
And I know sometimes Jess and I, like, there's times where like an issue will come up, or I'm checking something, with like social media and like the group that we have, or, just monitoring certain things. And she might see like, oh, Facebook is open, and I'm not paying attention to what she's saying. But it's like, I'm reading into whatever there's the current issue. And then I have to tell her like, hey, I'm sorry. Like, I am listening. Give me a quick second. Because this is an issue. It's not like I'm distracted using, scrolling social media while you're talking. It's like there's something going on. I take care of it real quick. She understands. And then it's like, it's back to paying attention, and focus.
Right.
So having a business it's not easy. It's never going to be easy, no matter what level you're at. It just, sometimes the tasks get easier, but even then it's like,
it does get easier once you grow.
It gets easier once you grow, because you hire for we call them the annoying tasks, the little things that are like
the
not
necessary
super hard,
tasks,
but they're necessary.
Right.
Like answering customer service,
Yeah, imagine doing that for, 20 years every single day, or doing a spreadsheet every single day. That'll burn you out, right?
Right.
So, and you won't really grow, which is the important part of starting a business, right? So, yeah, no, I definitely agree with that one. It also depends on the business that you're starting, right? Because there are different businesses. There are riskier businesses, and there are businesses that are, I'm not going to say guaranteed, because nothing is really guaranteed, but more guaranteed to bring in money up front, right? So if you're trying to start a business like what we do through Booking Koala, like a service business, you kind of guarantee that you're going to be making money right away, because if you do the job yourself, I mean, you really don't have much overhead, right? You could build your website, you could go to door, or post like somewhere in a Facebook group, does anyone need home cleaning or their car washed or gutters fixed? And, you know, if you really want to learn about it, you could be easily making a good amount of money very quickly, right? And
which we had users, I mean, David Bowie, who I interviewed, he said the first 6 months or a year of his business was like him doing that. He started the business and he was actually the one going to customers' houses and doing the details and the cleans and stuff because he needed to learn how to do it so he can make the process of hiring and like customer service all
he
that
wanted
much
to figure
better.
it out.
He wanted to figure it out right away, right off the bat. Yeah, being in the trenches.
And he probably saved a lot of money doing that because he didn't have to pay people, you know.
And he made money.
Exactly. So like if you start doing that, I think it's a lot riskier, right? For example, how I started with Camille, my very first business, we didn't do a single cleaning ourselves, right? Which means we had to do a lot more volume in order for us to make profit, right? Because if you pay someone 60, 70% to do the job, you only have a little bit of a chunk left, right? So now you have to do volume, which becomes a little bit riskier to make that money from the start, right? So we weren't really making that much for a long time versus if you do it yourself, you could make money faster. But now that's a whole different story why we did it. But those are just the ways you have to think about it. Like when you're starting a business, you have to kind of figure out, am I going to be making money right away? Is this a business that is going to require a lot of investment? Or is it going to take a lot of time before I start producing money? Like those are the things that you have to consider as well. And then it comes to the what you brought up earlier, quitting your job or dropping out of college. Like I am totally against doing that unless you already have something to show from it in your business. I mean, that's what I did, right? I never dropped out of college until it actually started to make money, right? There was volume where we were still making money after paying everybody. And that's when me and Camille dropped out, right? So that's like something to definitely consider. But that's for people that are starting businesses, right? If you're going to a job and you think that's right for you, which I believe personally, right? Like it's crazy because gurus that are trying to sell you stuff, they will tell you, get the hell from your job to be happy, right? And start a job. That's crap because there's tons of people that find jobs and are totally happy. And
well, there's people who are meant for having a job and aren't cut out for business. There's also people who are cut out for business and not cut out to be in a job. Like you could take a business owner and stick them in a job and they might be butting heads right off the bat with everybody because they're seeing it from a business perspective. But if you're at an entry level position where, you know, you got a bunch of people around you who are the same level as you and you have multiple higher ups, you know, and you're acting like the CEO, you're going to be fighting with people. Yeah, it might look good to a higher up that's like not your initial manager, right? Because they might be annoyed by you, but their boss or their boss's boss might be like, wow, this guy's got initiative. Like we could bump him up quicker and put him in a management role, right? But if your manager sees that, they're going to be like, well, this guy's coming for my job. And then you're stepping on toes. And, you know, so it's like, it's the same way. There's people who are meant for jobs and not meant to be business owners. And there are business owners who are meant to be business owners that aren't cut out for the workforce.
Oh, for sure. I know a couple of people personally that even tell me that they would never want to start a business, right? And they know that they wouldn't even be able to handle business, right? And that's great because they actually could, you know, see that and are true to themselves, right? And that's a big thing. Like understanding your pros, your cons, your weaknesses, your strength, that's awesome. So like if you know you're not meant for business, why would you even attempt, you know, business? And a job could be a wonderful thing. You know, there's a lot of people that could make $75,000. I mean, if you bring 75,000 and your spouse brings 75,000, $150,000, no matter how media is spinning it today that, oh, that's not a lot of money today. It is a lot of money. You could be happy on $150,000.
You can. It's just, it all comes down to lifestyle and spending.
Exactly.
You got to make sacrifices.
Right. You have to make sacrifices. And like coming from me, my personal experience, like, yeah, I drive a little bit more of an expensive car, but I've downgraded, right?
Yeah.
Because I truly don't think a car made me any happier than the one I'm driving now, right? I was 22, I was driving the Cadillac, remember the Escalade, and now I'm driving a Dodge Durango, and they're the same car in my opinion. Like just because one says a Cadillac, one says a Dodge, that doesn't like make me happy whatsoever, right? Like having a Rolex or this watch that's like $200 maybe that I got from my mom as my first watch, I wouldn't even care of ever owning a Rolex, you know? Like that's just truly me. So like, but I found my happiness. So if you could find your happiness there, you could literally buy a small place that's a condo, live very, very, you know, frugally. I mean, it doesn't have to be frugally because I don't live frugally. I just spend on the things that actually make me happy. You know, like if I want to go somewhere, sure, I'll pay, you know, the food that they're charging if I want to go somewhere.
But you, to be fair, you don't have student debt. You don't have a lot of debt. People who have debt, you gotta live below the means so that you could pay off the debt, and then you can start saving and, you know.
Yeah, but like, how much really is a student debt payment every month?
A lot, dude.
How much?
A lot.
See, I wouldn't know because I don't have student debt. That's where you would know more. How much?
I have only like $7,200 in student loans, and the payment's a little over $100. Now, think of people who have 50, 60, 70, over 100, and a lot of people have over 100, right? Their payments are $300-$400 a month, and that's just basically covering interest. Why do you think the student loan payments basically never go down? It's because their monthlies are basically only going to interest, and it goes nowhere. So many people have posted online of them making, you know, 2 years worth of payments, right? And they're making the minimum, but if you look at the balance from the start of the 2 years to what they just showed, it's actually, they owe still more because the interest went up.
I know what you're saying, but that's, in my opinion, that's just lifestyle and figuring out how to pay that thing off. You know, like, don't tell me that if you're making $150,000 a year, you can't pay that off. Like,
well, there's other things, right?
What's other things?
Rent.
Okay.
Food, groceries, car payment, insurances.
So $150,000.
I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm just saying it's a lot harder when you have 100 plus in student loans, or even 60K plus in student loans.
Absolutely. And not everybody makes $150,000 like I'm saying in the example, but that's just figuring out how to do it. Like, don't tell me that I've had it easy either, because I've had debt that I had to pay off too.
Right.
But I've made the right decisions with my life and tried to turn things around so that I could live happily, right?
That's the thing. You made sacrifices where you needed to.
Exactly.
And that's what we're both agreeing on. You got to make sacrifices in certain places. But again, that was their decision to go to college, right?
Right.
To take on the student loans.
But now you have to figure out how to get out of them. So, like, if someone's buying a freaking BMW and paying $1,000 and complaining, well, then that's what I'm saying.
Go buy a car for $5,000 off Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace.
Exactly. Where did I live even after you left, and how much was I paying for rent, right?
Oh, like, when you moved to Florida.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, I literally didn't pay very much. Even before that, when I was living at your dad's place, I was paying like, what, $800 plus utilities.
Yeah, that's nothing.
He gave me a good deal, but still, like, even he bumped it up for the new tenant, which was like, what, 1,200 or something like that. That's still not that much money at the end of the day, and that was a nice place. I sacrificed, you know, and I didn't even need to at that point. So if I didn't need to and I did it, why can't someone else do it, you know?
No, you can. I mean, everybody's case is different, right? It's just how much time in the day do you have and how motivated are you to actually get out of the debt, right? You can get a car and, you know, like me, drive for Lyft when you have extra time.
Right.
You drive 5 hours a day, you can get, depending on if you're in like a close to a metropolitan area, but if you can average $20 an hour, that's an extra $100 a day if you do it for 5 hours.
Right.
Right. It's going to suck.
Oh, for sure.
It's not going to be fun. But like we said, that's part of making the sacrifice to pay off the debt so that you can get to a point in your life where you are fully happy without.
Right.
Well, you could be happy in that scenario, but like without extra stress.
Right, because the stress is a big thing. So like if you are in situations like that, you want to be uncomfortable for a little bit. And that's, I mean, everybody has to go through that at some point. I don't think there's anybody, unless you've inherited a crap ton of money, that doesn't deal with that. But who knows? They might be dealing with something else anyways, right?
Right.
So like try to figure out where you can get out of these situations. If you're already there, great. Figure out a way to be happy. Like you don't have to own a business. If that's what you want to do, go try it. But if you have a job and that makes you happy, get a job, because there's good paying jobs that pay for your insurance. I mean, if you're a business owner, you have to figure out how to pay for insurance, which is expensive, right? Some jobs pay for that already. Plus the big perk of not really stressing when you get home, that's nice too, you know?
Right.
But one thing that I do want to touch up on as well is the risks, because people think that this having a business is such a huge risk where having a job is no risk. Like I see people saying that, but I don't think that's true at all. Like if you have a job, that's a risk.
It's a risk too, because at any point you can be laid off or let go or fired or, and then if you don't have a security blanket of money, you basically have to find something immediately. And how often are places going to hire you within like 3 days of an interview, right? Like I'd say usually 2 weeks, and that's pretty quick, closer to a month, right? If they're looking to find a candidate. If you go to a place that's like family run, mom and pop place that's desperate, well, yeah, you can probably get hired on the spot if you're a right fit and all that works out, sure. But you might be sacrificing pay now.
Right.
Just to get a job so that you can keep your bills paid, right? So 100% there's a risk in having a job.
There is, no doubt.
I honestly think that every person on earth is their own businesses themselves, right? Everyone's automatically a business owner the moment you're born till the moment you die. You are your own business in the way you market yourself, right, to others. Mm-hmm. When you're making friends, right, you're marketing yourself as how you are as a person to those other people. And if it works out and they like you, you guys like each other, well, you're friends, right? When you're dating, when you're looking for a partner or a spouse, same thing. You're marketing your good qualities to that person, and they're doing the same back. If it's a match, well, then you guys
did a good job.
You did a good job, and you work on it, and hopefully it flourishes, right? I see every individual person as their own business, and day in and day out, you work on yourself to become a better person, which is become a better business in a sense, right? When you're going to look for a job, you're interviewing for that job, but they're also looking to hire that business to bring into their business to make it fit.
Mm-hmm.
You got two bad businesses butting heads, it's not going to work out, right? And that's where you can like get fired and all this other stuff. I feel like some people aren't getting the analogy, but I'm getting it. I truly believe like every person has to see themselves as a business owner, and their business is themselves, right?
And now it's time to figure out which way you want to go.
Right.
Own a business or have a job and just come home and watch TV. Because some people will say, wow, watching TV is a waste of time, you know? But that's just a certain type of person on YouTube that you're watching that I don't even know what's wrong in their head. Like that, you're just saying that, but that's you.
Right.
You know, like how can you say that about 99.9% of the world? Like if they like watching TV, let them watch TV. Or if they want to play video games, let them play video games. As long as they're happy, who gives a crap?
Exactly. And that goes into networking too then. Like if I love watching movies and TV shows, which I do, you know, and I'm going to be walking down the street with a friend and I'm like quoting, doing a movie quote to them and they're doing one back and, you know, another person walking by chimes in with, you know, a response to that same movie quote. You know, that's how you build friendships, right? Or you go to Comic-Con and talk about video games or other things like that, right? Mm-hmm. Those are networking events too. You don't listen to some schmuck on
They're schmucks,
on
man.
the internet who say drop everything basically that makes you happy and human and buy all my crap, my courses, and that's going to give you true happiness because it's going to open your mind into you're going to learn how to do all these things. What if they don't like it?
What if they don't want to do that?
Right. If somebody comes up to me and says, you know, I want to work at SeaWorld because I love animals. Beautiful. Do it. If it truly makes you happy and you're going to, you know, take that to heart and always be happy with what you do and you're happy with that paycheck, by all means. I am never going to be one to push you into doing something you don't want to do, right?
And what's crazy is we own a platform that we would want to push you to start a business because we benefit from it, right? Because you turn into a business owner, we get paid, our company grows, and we don't do it like that because
But the business of me as a person, as Michael Zielinski, I would turn into somebody I'm not. I would be false in myself if I did that, if I went to push you to become a business owner when it's truly not your passion.
And me too.
That's right. It's going to make us feel bad inside and be shitty if we're just going to be like all these other gurus who are pushing you to quit your 9-to-5 grind and drop everything you're doing and showboat this lifestyle that's all great and dandy when if they don't want to do it, why the hell would you push them into? Like they're going to quit their job. They're going to start, depending on how long they last, whether it's 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years. Finally, they realize they're not happy. They gave up on that. They go back to getting a job. Now they're truly happy again.
But the guru got paid.
But they got paid.
That's all that matters to them,
their book.
Right? Whatever it may be.
Or whatever it is, or their course.
Right.
That's crap.
Yeah, and who says that, you know, one day maybe you will want to try to be an entrepreneur, you know, and like start a business. If you don't think that money is enough, then you might, right? But that's not the only way to become wealthy, right? It's like you can have a job, you can get bumped up, you can invest in right things, and you could have a regular job and make a lot of money, you know? So it's like, it just depends which one you want to go with, right? It's like, I don't think there's a right or wrong. You know yourself better than anybody else. Pick what you think is the right thing for you. If you do have a job, maybe you want to start exploring business, you know, and start figuring things out. Maybe you already have those hobbies where, like you said, you watch TV, you watch video games. The best thing that you could probably do is maybe try to figure out something in those niches, in those industries, because you already enjoy these things and it's going to make your life a lot easier down the line, right?
Exactly.
So, I mean, just imagine doing business that you're not passionate about, you know? I feel like that's super hard to do because when I started, I wasn't passionate about the cleaning industry. Lucky I found things I was passionate about while doing that business, you know, like just hanging out with my friend all the time, that was something that was awesome, right? It kind of made the whole business thing easier, right? Because I was having a good time.
And a lot more fun.
Right. And that's like how you can kind of relate to people that like being in an office environment, right? They have people around them that they truly like. Now imagine all that going away because you start a business by yourself and now you're at home one-on-one in front of a computer screen. Now it depends what kind of business, because you can go in a direction where, you know, it's like you're actually meeting people, which if that might be a lot better for a lot of people than just sitting in front of a computer like I did for many years, where you feel lonely sometimes, you know? So it's like, it just really depends. Now, I don't regret anything because I always knew in my head that those are the sacrifices I have to make until things start to click. But you have to be true to yourself and know that ahead of time, right? If you're okay to make those sacrifices, then fine. If you're not, don't do it.
100%.
So,
and when we first started, we were listening to these schmucks. We did buy these courses and we did listen to all these things, and we became unhappy.
Yeah, because we were chasing stupid things that we didn't even want in the first place.
Right. We skipped the part of asking ourselves what makes us happy. Are we happy right now? Is this decision going to continue my happiness, or is it going to kill it? And we never looked at it that way. We're just so suckered into what we were sold that the biggest outlying factor, happiness, was not even brought into it. And several years went by until we finally realized, like, that was all crap.
Bunch of crap, you know? And it's funny because, like, for anyone that's listening right now, you can get suckered in so easily, because I was already making pretty good money when we started to listen to these gurus, you know, like very well off. And we still got suckered in.
Yeah, we were on the complete other opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of income, right? You were killing it with King of Maids, and I was working delivering pizzas 2 days a week. So, like, I was just getting enough to pay basic bills and barely get by, where you had abundant money, right? And the gurus got both of us. So it doesn't matter where you're at, like, you can still get suckered into buying these things and we're not realizing what it will do to affect your happiness. Now, we're not saying every single one of them are bad, right? Because you want to, if you have money, disposable income that you can put to learning things quicker and avoid mistakes, beautiful. You want to do that. We're not against that. It's just aligning that happiness and realizing to do more research on that person. Is that the route? What they're selling, is that what you want to go into? Are they even reputable with what they're saying? Like, how many times have we seen people pop up just because, oh, this is selling this idea to the masses right now is the next big thing. So if I jump on it early and I can make it look like myself, I have been big in it, well, then I can essentially scam so many people out of money, and I will then become successful, and I will have my own money, and I can now be a consultant in how I got rich. But they're basically saying what they're going to consult you on in business is find the next big trend, even if you don't have a big background in it, figure out how to sell it, become that ultimate salesperson, and put their money into your pocket.
And turn the next guy into the
same thing.
Into you. Yeah, I know. It's like, it's the craziest thing. And like, people fall for it. And then some of them are like, hell yeah, I love it, you know? And they keep continuing on off of that, which is like, man, you're just going into a scam that goes into a scam that goes into a scam.
Just wanted to tell you guys about a new program that we started. It's called the Koala Guys Help Program. Little something extra that we want to do and give back to our viewers, the community. we're in a position now where we can help people with more than just the knowledge that we've learned, but financially as well. And this week's winner is Timothy. He will be getting $250 to help out with rent for him and his daughter. So congratulations to Timothy. If you guys want to learn more, it is thekoalaguys.com/free. Go there, check it out, read the steps, super easy. It's 30 to 45-second video on why you would need some financial assistance during this time. I know everybody can use a little bit, anything helps. We understand that. So go check it out and know that just because you submitted this week doesn't mean that you have to keep submitting. It gets rolled over. So if you submitted today, you could potentially win in a couple weeks, a month, couple months. So,
and also, I guess we could add that if you do want to support the cause, you could also go to thekoalaguys.com/free.
And with Booking Koala, our software helps business owners in the service industry. These are all industries that, to be frank, will never die. They will never go out of style because there's always going to be people who are willing to spend money on things that they don't want to do, right? Someone will cut spending on products and stuff on Amazon, like random shopping, before they cut out a lifestyle thing that makes their life easier and that they don't want to do. Like, for example, home cleaning or car detailing or, people even run businesses where they pick up dog poop, right? Poop scooping.
You got to pick it up.
You got to pick it up. But if you don't want to do it, you can hire somebody to do it, right? Or there's even, trash can washing. Like, somebody is always going to do a service for people who don't want to do it themselves and they're willing to pay. And that's never going to go out of style. That's never going to go out of business, right?
Right.
You just have to evolve with marketing tactics. And yeah, there are going to be downtimes when people, whether it's closer to a holiday or something certain, where they are going to save money. Sure, you'll see it affected, but it's never going to go away completely.
No,
like how many from, what was it, 8 years ago, when subscription boxes were huge and all the biggest fad, how many are big right now still? The only one I could really think of is BarkBox. And even now they're selling their own toys in Target, PetSmart, Petco. Like, they're everywhere. It's not just a subscription box.
Yeah, there's a lot of wonderful businesses, but definitely service businesses are great because, if you want to start becoming your own business owner and starting to get into being an entrepreneur, I feel like that is probably the easiest one of, if not the easiest businesses you can start.
It's that, and also the most well-rounded business to learn all aspects of: hiring, customer service, marketing, sales. There are, if you're doing drop shipping, customer service isn't really huge, right? It's just if you're going to refund, you just refund and say, okay, I refunded you the money. Hiring, who are you hiring? It's basically you behind the laptop while your Shopify's running, your Facebook ads are running. If you paid people to do that yourself, I wouldn't, because once you learn it, nobody knows it as good as you at that point. I'm sure there are people who know better, but nobody knows your business as well as you do.
Right. Absolutely.
So if you're going to start a service business, you're everything, and you're going to learn it all by doing that. It's going to be a little bit more time and a little bit more tricky because you are juggling all those hats. But once you become successful with your business and you get it to, let's say, 30 to 50K a month in recurring revenue, your business is something.
And that's why I like that those businesses as well, because you got reoccurring clients, which makes, you know, it's so much easier because you don't have to go out and find new clients all the time.
Not chasing.
So, yeah, you're not chasing. So it is, I mean, I personally believe that if I started in a software business like I did with booking Koala later, I don't think I would have been successful, because the first business taught me so much that I could have used in the other business. And software, it's a whole different ball game than it is what I started in, which was home cleaning industry, right? It's a great business, but they're so different. Okay. So, I mean, if anybody wants to learn about service industry, they could go to our Facebook group and join. There's thousands of entrepreneurs talking about it. And you guys can go ahead and learn more about that.
Booking Koala community.
Yeah. On Facebook, you guys can go to bookingkoala.com, and then there's a link somewhere there to our Facebook community group as well. So, and it's nice because you could start making money right away if you actually want to be your own provider, right? There's tons of people do it that way.
They sign up, you know, whether it's the lowest plan or the middle plan, it's either $1 a day or under $1 a day or under $2 a day. Sign up, put yourself in there, you know, just have a logo. You got to change a couple little things, right?
Yeah.
But your website's already there. Take the link, go into some Facebook local community groups, right? If you're in Chicago, find a bunch, put in there that you're doing, you know, car cleaning or home cleaning, and do a discounted rate. They could book you. You go do the job, you pocket 100% of the money, and now you're just reinvesting.
Yeah, very easy. And then one day maybe you're going to say, maybe it's time for me to hire. You know, you've already learned how to do the job. Now you just want to train people, whether it's employees or hire other people that are contractors. It's completely up to you. There's so many ways to run this business, and I think it's a great place to be. So if anybody does want to become an entrepreneur, I think service industry is definitely, you know, a good place to start. And
there's the other interviews that I've done on Booking Koala's YouTube channel. All those entrepreneurs, they started with home cleaning or whatever industry they have done, and so many have said, this is not going to be my end all be all. You know, I've learned so much in the last year or 2 years or 3 years or however long they've been in business, and they're like, like I just mentioned, I've got a grasp on so many things: hiring, sales, marketing, customer service, that now I have confidence, and I have like thought of other business ideas that I want to get into where like that's going to really make me super happy. Like this will could make you happy, but like
it could be enough for many people. But for those that want extra, it's like I did,
great stepping stone to like cover all your bases.
Right. And not to say that I couldn't have taken home cleaning to a, you know, nationwide company, because you can do that too. It just depends what you kind of want to do, right? I like the tech part of the company, so we built out a tech company instead, right? But yeah, it's a wonderful thing to get your foot in the door of being an entrepreneur, and then start figuring out what you want to do with your life. So, I mean, we truly believe that. I truly believe that it is one of the easiest, if not the easiest, businesses to start. Because, like, I mean, I'm very honest. I've tried other businesses before, so I could easily say that it is a business that I think is the easiest. Because, like I said, tech, that's a whole different ballgame. If you're trying to bet on something that's very risky, you don't even know if it's going to work out. Especially if you're trying to invent something new, that's huge, right?
Right.
So I do think that,
and you need a lot of money.
And you do need a lot of money, or you have to raise money if you don't have money yourself, right?
And when you raise money and you get partners, forget about percentage. It's about say so now. If you want to take the company in one direction, well, now you have people to answer to. If they don't like it, and depending on how much percentage you have, it might not go that way.
It might not, yeah. So I guess to finish off the video, what did we learn from here? It's
bottom line is do what makes you happy. Don't listen just because a Facebook or Instagram or whatever ad popped up about this guru telling you this is going to make you X amount of money in the next 6 months or a year. It could, but is it going to is your happiness going to suffer?
Exactly.
Are you going to be happy, or are you going to be upset and dreading this, right?
Right.
It's like,
or you see an influencer making X amount of money, so you try to go in there, but do you actually want to be on camera? Right? If you don't want to be on camera, what's the point? Just to force these, it's not as glamorous as people think it is, because like the amount of hours you have to be doing that, and especially if you're starting editing the videos, which is a tedious thing to do, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I would never be doing this right here if I had to edit these videos myself, because that is something I truly don't like doing.
Right.
I've tried editing a video and that, wow, okay, like that's not me. But hopping on a camera and doing a video to the public, that's fine, because that doesn't take much effort. You get joy from it because you educate a lot of people, and then someone finishes the product, right?
Sure.
So that is fine. But like I said, if you don't like being on camera, that's not for you. Find something that makes you happy, or try to get there as quick as possible, because like we mentioned earlier, there might be some things in the path where you have to pay up that and be uncomfortable for a week or two, or a year or two, maybe more. But don't just think that someone's advertising to you that you can become a business owner and make $1 million, that's going to happen. It could, but more often than not, it won't.
Right.
Right.
And I mean, don't get, like you said, you wouldn't do this if you had to do the editing. I still, to this day, and I've been doing videos in interviews consistently for the last, year and a half, but I've been doing we did videos for Sassy Egg years ago, right?
You've done the edits.
And I've done the edits, but I'm still uncomfortable. I'm not 100% going on camera every time, and I'm not truly happy with just that part. But what does make me happy is being able to come and tell kind of my side of the story, but more so than that is just listen to the other people that I'm talking with and giving information to whoever. If I could just help one person, whoever watches, and save them from making a big mistake, that's what I truly get happiness. So that's what puts me over the uncomfortable edge of doing the videos. If I know that I can help somebody watching, that's what gets me to do it.
Good. Yeah, you always liked helping people, so that's a huge plus. And I also liked helping people. That's why we do what we do.
Right.
And one big reason why we started this is because whenever I go on social media or Twitter and I see some tip that I know, someone's giving to someone else because it's their bottom line that's getting impacted. And I know that's completely the worst advice you can give.
100%.
That's what pisses me off, And like, that's a big reason why we're also doing this, and I'm doing it personally because I want to make sure that people do not fall for these
and get
guys.
Suckered in. Yeah, it's brutal. Like we talk about it all the time. If we had a bigger reach, we would be name dropping.
Oh, we'll be getting there.
We would be exposing. The reason we don't do it yet is
we want to build up the channel.
We want to get more in depth with things. We want to show we know what we're saying. I know there's people who are going to disagree with us, and I'm sure there are going to be people. You always have that.
You always have that.
That's never going to go away, and we know that, and we're okay with it. Like I said, as long as we can help people who want to be helped along the way, or maybe they just stumble across the video and they're listening and they were about to buy a program and now they're going to be second guessing. Beautiful. If you still buy the program and you get happiness out of it, great.
Right.
Great. We're not trying to stop people from buying courses. It's just know what you need to do to be happy and
don't fall for the scam.
And don't fall for the scam.
Because honestly, like there are people that are charging like $2,000 for a course. You could find the same course for $20 on udemy.com. Like it will be the same information. Like that's what drives me crazy too. And then these people are going to be like, well, that's their fault. I'm a great marketer, I know how to sell my product for $2,000 while that person is selling it for $20. Nah, dude. Sure, partially true.
Sure.
But what are we doing here?
Right.
Yeah.
And also, do your research.
Are you helping someone when you're suckering $2,000 out of them when they could get the same thing for $20 and they could use the remainder of the money to actually improve their life because they're coming to you to actually, what? Make more money.
Right.
And you're trying to basically lose them money.
And if they're a guru that actually never did what they're selling, that is the ultimate scum of the earth. Like, that would be somebody who never ran a cleaning service and now pitching
how to do it because the trend is
there, and they probably just went and bought all the other gurus' courses, consumed all the information, and they're just putting it into their own words and regurgitating it and now selling it to people because they are probably could be a better marketer or a better salesperson, and now they're getting people to buy, which some people could argue, well, somebody ran a business and gave that information and then learned or taught somebody else, and now why is that a big issue? The only issue I would say is if this person was saying how I ran a cleaning service for X amount of money, or I made that much revenue. If you're upfront and honest, being like, hey, I've learned from gurus or coaches or whoever, this is what they taught me, let me teach you. Okay, at least you're being upfront and honest and not saying that you're lying and you did it yourself.
Right.
Because if you start doing that, bringing unethical crap into your sales pitch, that's the number one red flag.
Absolutely. So I guess ultimate thing is just find happiness. Doesn't matter if it's a business or a job. If you want to explore more. Don't quit your job as you're exploring. That's probably a bad idea. If you have a job that you hate, try to find one that you don't. If it's a job that you're, looking for and the security from it, the benefits from it, because I know a lot of people for sure just stick with good jobs because of the benefits, which is huge. So things like that, don't get suckered in because someone's telling you you're going to make $1 million super quickly, things like that. And if you guys enjoy the content, make sure you guys subscribe, like this video because it helps us a lot. We'll know that you guys, want to watch content like this. If something was interesting or interested you in this video, let us know.
And if you ever have questions, honestly, if you're curious to learn anything more, you could DM either of us on Instagram and we'll respond. Like I'll respond and I'll tell you like whatever you want. If you have a question for me, I'll do it.
Unless this goes viral and there's like 10,000 messages in a DM.
Yeah, then
I'm not hiring someone to answer for me, so I will not get through those DMs, but I'll try to get through some at that point because I would never want to hire someone to act as me and then, post something, that I've said or potentially said, like, that's not me. I would never be doing that kind of stuff. So, I guess we'll end it there. Make sure you guys subscribe and definitely in the comments, if you guys want more topics like this or anything specific, let us know because we will be going through comments and taking this very seriously.